I have covered quite a lot of music over the course of the last couple of years of doing this channel. I have covered huge bands all the way up with like Lady Gaga and Coldplay, all the way down to much smaller bands like Dreg. I've enjoyed it all, and usually I just kind of like jump on Spotify or have a troll through YouTube and I just try and find recent releases that grab my attention. But what I was hoping for was eventually I would hit the point where people started sending me stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, it has finally happened, and it's very, very gratifying. A couple of days ago, I was checking on my social medias at, Renz Music on Instagram, right over my face like this, or my own personal one at Lorenzo Bellini, something that's also going to be on the screen in front of me right now. Anyway, had a message from a band called Mission Jupiter saying that they would like me to react to their new song Human Nature. And you know what, Mission Jupiter? It would be my pleasure. I am so grateful that you guys have reached out to me to share your music with me, and I appreciate the sentiment that you said you want your music to stand on its own, and I think that is a very admirable goal, and it's so difficult to get exposure as a new up-and-coming band nowadays. Trust me, I have tried. I am trying. I've got an entire separate music project called Low Flow, which is not my first rodeo at this point, and it's difficult. So I know I'm a small creator at the moment, but hopefully that will change. But anything I can do to try and encourage up-and-coming musicians to get more exposure, I'm here for it. So I really appreciate you sending your song to me, Mission Jupiter. You're obviously quite small, even though, to be fair, your song has already got 11,000 views, which is definitely not to be sniffed at. Well done for that. But yeah, little band from Belarus. So let's jump in and have a listen to Human Nature, and we'll see what this is all about. Okay. I really like the tone on that guitar. That sort of the plucked guitar coming out in one of the pans over there. Really, really lovely. It's just like a nice mixture of like echo and stuff like that, but the picking is nice too. I like the vibe, shall we say. And also her voice so far is working for me. It's that note, it's the last note on whatever that picking thing is. They're hitting, I wish my theory was better and I could tell you specifically what it is, but that top note there, the sort of like melodic, I don't know if it's sharpened or flattened, but whatever it is, it's really contributing to this sort of like sad, dark aesthetic. This is actually really up my street. I like this a lot already. Ooh, what is that? It's gonna kick in a second, is it? Okay. You know what the guitars remind me of? It's a little bit Nine Inch Nails-y, which is definitely a compliment. Ooh. Okay. I was expecting it to thicken out a little bit. I wasn't quite expecting it to go that way, but actually that's good. Often defying expectations is what part of the thrills that make stuff enjoyable. But that little lead-in line of with the guitar in that pan before it opens out a little bit more, really nice. It's a very nice lead-in to try and... it keeps the song subtle still. It's not, overbearing and screamy, but it's definitely opened up to give what I think is probably the chorus a bit more impact. I like that as a trait a lot. Ooh. Whoa. What is that? It sounds like a trombone or something mixed really deep. Well, maybe it's a synth, or maybe it's just a tone on the bass or guitar, but there's something that came soaring through the bottom there. It almost felt like a brass section. It might well have been, actually, but really added some depth to it. God damn, these guys are great. I'm really enjoying it. Also, briefly on the music video, I'm visually interested in what's going on. There's some, it's well filmed, it's well shot, the location is interesting at least. There's a lot of big bands that put significantly less effort into their videos than this. So yeah, no, again, hats off.
Why do we hide our hearts? I better listen to inner voices. They always tell what's right. Long way to understand. Always again.
And that's a nice variation again. You've gone back to the verses, but it's not the same as the previous time we get that. Now we've got that sort of slightly heavy guitar working in a more staccato, offbeat emphasis to like really bring some variation into the second half. I like that a lot. Also, there is something whoever their producer is, or maybe it's one of them, who knows. There's some really fun effects being applied to quite a lot of the music in this. There was a kind of like, I don't know, it almost felt like a flanger or something like that on something mixed quite quietly in one of the pans, but again, it adds this like rich depth to the sound. Yeah, that. Okay. And the lead into the chorus was different this time, which again is nice. You had that weird noise being part of that, and the actual guitar lead in was slightly different, maybe less impactful, but that's fine because it's the second one and you've got this other tone now. Oh, man. It's that deep tone thing. They use it sparingly enough that every time it comes in, I forget it's coming. The in the background it gives me shivers. Okay. Ah, okay, B section, nice. Back to a nice picky section again, but slightly further up in the, sort of not a higher octave, but higher up in the register of the guitar this time, just as she's starting to deliver some vocal variation, which is good, because I think it's about time. We've got a fairly traditional verse, chorus, now we're into the bridge, but hey, these structures are there for a reason. It's because they work most of the time. Okay, picking up the energy a bit. Ooh. That synthy part being put in the background there is also lovely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, based on the fact that this is what looks like a trio, I assume they must have to perform live with a few overdubs being played there, because there's a lot going on here. It's very sumptuous, it's very rich listening, but on the other hand, the introduction to of those little bits and pieces in the back of the pans just across the board, they're really nice. It really adds a lot to what could, I mean, I'm not trying to say it could be generic, it's definitely not, but you know, otherwise, you know, guitar, drums, bass, there's only so much you can go with that, but I really like just the weird tones and the little synthy bits that are being pushed into the background here. It creates a very dramatic feeling across the whole board, which I really like. Cool. I'm not gonna lie, my expectations were basically non-existent. I have no idea. I mean, obviously I did no research and these guys are very small, so I had no idea to expect, and that absolutely blew my mind when it comes to that kind of thing. That was great. That's one of the better songs I've heard for a while, just full stop, to be honest. There was so much subtlety and clever variation within the whole track. That's the whole track. The only thing that stays really consistent is her vocals, which is fine because you need something to anchor upon, but they're very pure. She's got an emotive voice. I do think that maybe the lyrics were a little bit lost, but I also understand that English is almost certainly not their first language, so just be able to do an entire song in English is something that me, as an English person, should be very impressed by, because I cannot do another song in a different language, so yeah, I will leave that one there. But I liked her tone of voice. I thought that the melody was very suiting to go over the rest of it. She maybe could have kicked up a little bit in the choruses, but not really, to be honest, because the other instruments kind of did that for her. The guitar work was really great. I thought the variations across the verses and the chorus was good. Just those little bits, those details that came in there with the that synth tone that came in the bottom for the choruses, which is only used like 4 times across the entire track, and yet still has such an impact because of that. And actually, people have discussed this kind of stuff with me in the past, especially when I've been doing my own songwriting, and sometimes it's worth not overusing it, not overplaying your hand, because I'm not gonna lie, it encourages repeat listens. If you've got like 2 moments across the track of a 4-minute song, and those 2 minutes are so good that I have to hear them again, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to the song again. So it's a good tactic from that perspective. I think that the songwriting, the production was really good. Like whoever their producer was very, very subtle with their use of stuff. The mixing was really, really on point there. Songwriting was great. The music video, obviously, again, I can imagine they're probably not working with a huge budget, and what they did was they spent that budget wisely. They got a good camera, somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing with that camera. They found a nice scenic place to film. The music video it's fairly innocuous, it's just sort of walking through a forest being stalked by 2 ghost men in a boat and stuff, but that's fine. It was visually interesting, and I tell you what, I prefer that a lot to just a white box studio or even a live performance. So again, hats off. I think you've done very well for what you had. God damn it, Mission Jupiter, you're great. I will definitely give you more of a listen. Thank you for submitting it, and yeah, that is a lesson to everybody else. If any of you have got your own music, whether it's big or small, please send it my way. You can either send it to my social media. I'll put links in the description for any way you want to try and get hold of me. I would love to make this a more regular thing and try and use whatever tiny amount of influence I have to try and let these artists be propagated more, because this band absolutely deserves to be listened to by more people. That was great. Yeah, anyway, other than that, I think that's probably all I've got to say on that one. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of that crazy stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.